Hello Pisces, I am Poetic Heretic, and this is your October 2017 tarot forecast. Do remember you can use these videos for your sun, rising, and moon signs. So this month I am doing a week-by-week forecast where we will have one card for each week, and then the fourth card being also for the rest of the month, and then a fifth card summing up the energy of the whole month. So let's see what we get. What will be the energy for Pisces for October 2017? That does seem like it. Okay, the first week, the Ace of Swords reversed. The second week, Strength. The third week, the Two of Pentacles. The fourth week, Temperance. And the fifth card summing up the whole month, the Knight of Pentacles. Excellent. Right off the bat, I'm seeing very little here to worry about. And with the Knight of Pentacles summing up the whole month, essentially, this should be a really good month overall for you guys. In fact, as I said in my last video, it seems like the whole zodiac is having mostly a really good month this month. Almost every sign has either like a really good month this month or one that is just like a little bit bad at times, but still even not that bad. So I don't know what it is about October, but there must be a lot of positive energy about, which I think is a welcome change for many of us. But so anyway, beginning with the first week, and this is actually the only part of the spread where there might be a concern, so we can get that out of the way first and then get on to the rest of the good stuff, I suppose. Although I guess really it's all good stuff. Anyway, the Ace of Swords reversed. This indicates a potential risk of not seeing clearly in the first week. There may be something that requires your attention, and you're like being distracted from it, or you're not seeing it. This is an indicator of needing to use logic and the intellect to perceive something clearly. There is a risk of being too caught up in the subjective realms and a need to focus more objectively. Sometimes this can be like sort of a warning to not begin a new venture or something like that. So in the first week, if there's the possibility of a new beginning, the reversal of this card tells me that it might not be the best time to begin that, whatever it is. So I would suggest either canceling it or delaying it until a later time, at least the second week, because after that we're seeing really good energy here. But yeah, that's the only thing to really worry about. Other than that, I mean, the Ace of Swords normally is a very good card, like when it's upright, particularly talking about being clear-minded and using the intellect and stuff like that, seeing with great clarity. So perhaps now that you're aware of that, you can make a more deliberate effort in the first week to focus more clearly and more logically, and sort of use this energy to your advantage, like unblock this energy so that then you are seeing like really clearly for the first week and for the month. For the second week, you have Strength. This is a really beautiful card. This talks about having faith and belief in yourself. It talks about strength of character, victory over adversity. It talks about optimism and expansion, being bold, moving forward. With it being an 8, it can also talk about transformation, that sort of Scorpio energy, death and rebirth and stuff like that. And then the card itself is ruled by the sign of Leo, and that's going to talk about, again, the boldness and the action and the courage to move forward. Not surprisingly, courage goes hand in hand with this card. Strength, courage, stuff like that. Let's see, what else could be said here? It's also, as far as the planet or luminary that rules it, that is the sun. And the sun is all about the light of consciousness, the light of awareness, and stuff like that. Seeing clearly. So isn't that interesting? Right after the Ace of Swords here, we have a card that in some instances can be talking about seeing clearly. So it's like, if you weren't seeing clearly in the first week, you're probably going to be seeing clearly by the second week. And it's interesting, this card, you know, so many things could be said about it. And if I tried to say them all, this video would be like an hour long at least. But it's about like also taming the wild beast, but taming like the beast within. Taming your anger and aggressiveness, and knowing how to use that in a positive way so that you're no longer so extroverted and trying to like make things happen and stuff like that. I know that's not exactly a very Piscean trait to begin with, but you know, depending on what else you have in your chart, some of you may have an inclination towards that. There comes a point where you realize that you're not the only powerful force in town, that there are others out there who are just as, if not more powerful than you are in terms of very real physical strength, to look at this on a very sort of bare bones level. And there comes this realization that this card talks about, that it's time to look within a little bit at least, and like realize that there's a different kind of strength that one can have. There are that there's more to life than just brute force, essentially, is what this card is saying. And notice also with the lion in the card how it is sticking its tongue out. It's enjoying this process. This is something playful for it, which again is indicating the taming of anger and instead channeling that aggressiveness into a positive form. Because really, aggressiveness, despite its often negative connotation, actually has many positive forms if you really look into, I guess, what that sort of really means. Aggressiveness is just like a willingness to take action, to sort of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of almost expand or exert your influence on others, but in a positive way, like a willingness to communicate and interact with other people and stuff like that. So we've got all kinds of positive, transformational, transformative energy going on in the second week here with the Strength card. And again, if you're not seeing clearly in the first week, you probably will be by the second week. And this ties in an interesting way with the Knight of Pentacles, which is summing up the energy of this whole month. Because here we have the idea of slowly but steadily moving forward on the path to success. And you talk about believing in yourself, having faith in oneself, like the Strength card talks about. This card definitely goes right along with that. In order to keep pressing forward steadily on the road to success, you have to have faith and belief in yourself. And this card tells me, along with the Strength card, that this month you, Pisces, indeed have that strength and that faith and belief in yourself to continue moving forward towards whatever it is that you have as your goals, whatever it is that you're wanting to do or create or manifest. Moving towards things that are better and better and better. And that's always the path that we want to be on. For the third week, you have the Two of Pentacles. This is a card of, among other things, considering new financial ventures or engaging in new financial ventures. This could be an investment, this could be a new business. It's stuff like that relating to money and finance and the material world. It's also a card that signals having to spend some to get some, having to spend some to make some, having to give some to get some, stuff like that. This could be like the early stages of a new business or a new job or something like that. It can also talk about investment in two different areas or activity in two different areas, because notice the figure on the card is a juggler trying to juggle these two different pentacles. So it can be about trying to like find balance between two different areas of your life. It can also talk about like the possibility of ups and downs, particularly in a financial sense. And sometimes this card can even mean too many ups and downs. So if there's like one other possible thing to watch out for in this spread, I guess that would be it. The possibility of too many ups and downs, especially when it comes to the realm of money. But again, that is essentially highly unlikely for most Pisces out there, because again, we have down here the Knight of Pentacles, which is talking about a level of integrity and financial security, all kinds of stability when it comes to money, or at the very least with sort of managing your money or managing your material realm. For the fourth week and the rest of the month, we have Temperance. This is, interestingly enough, another card that can often talk about money. And in this case, it's growth and expansion of money. It's increasing one's abundance and stuff like that. So that's very good news. However, this card also talks a lot about, well, a number of other things. One of them is optimism, kind of similar to the Strength card, interestingly enough. So an optimistic outlook on life. This is growth, expansion, also the idea of education and higher learning, and very much associated with things like the meaning and purpose of life, philosophy, metaphysics, theology, and belief systems and stuff like that. This card is ruled by Jupiter, which is the bigger, better, more planet, essentially. So you can see a pretty clear pattern here, I think, or at least I can. And what I'm seeing is this idea of having the strength and the faith and belief in yourself to continue moving forward on the way to things that are bigger and better and greater and expansive and stuff like that. Um, so that's a very good sign indeed, and it could even relate to like something new in the realm of work and or finance. So very good news indeed, really. But it should also again be emphasized here, though, the sort of deep philosophical undertones of the Temperance card. This is a time of really getting in touch with the meaning of life and the mystery of life and stuff like that. And this card, I believe, also is meant to symbolize alchemy, as we have here the two cups. Um, and I believe I have read that the idea is that the water is supposed to be seen as flowing upward, um, which is indicating the transmutation of a lower element to a higher element. Which, like, what does that mean for you? What does that mean in day-to-day life? That means transmuting negative energy into positive energy. It means taking something that is in a negative vibration and moving it to a positive vibration. And that process is essentially alchemy. And one of the best ways to do that is to simply shine the light of your consciousness, as the Strength card kind of alludes to here, right on the darkness that you're wanting to transmute into the light. Because what happens when you shine the light onto the dark? There is no more dark. It becomes light, and that's essentially what we have here. But you have to be willing to look at it, and that's where the challenge lies with most people, because when we're talking about the darkness, we're usually talking about the shadow, the parts of ourselves that many of us don't want to look at, the parts of ourselves that we don't like, that we've repressed or in some cases just suppressed, but usually it's more of a repression. It's unconscious. We don't know we're doing it. It's a good idea to make that conscious, shine the light of awareness on it, and transmute it to a higher plane, a higher element. Transmute it into light, bring it into the light of your consciousness, and then it's no longer going to be the big, difficult, scary thing that it was. Instead, now you can deal with it if it even remains a problem at all. So I think that's what this card in particular is quite possibly encouraging you to do. Now, on to the Knight of Pentacles, the fifth and final card summing up the energy of the whole month. Like I said earlier, this is talking about moving steadily on the path to success. This is a card of the element of earth, which is slow and steady, but also very practical and thorough. And so this is not the energy of rushing off into battle. This is the energy of being very thorough and knowing that doing things completely is the way to achieve true success. And it's a card of persistence as well, and hard work and integrity. So really that's what we're seeing for you this month, is essentially the cards are saying just keep working away at what you feel you need to work on, and you will see greater and greater success as long as you stay on the path, as long as you stick to the plan, essentially, and keep working towards what you've got as your goals or whatever. Interestingly enough, if we look a little more at the numerology here, we're seeing a lot of indication of fixed signs, which is a modality that applies to 4 signs of the zodiac, and the fixed modality is about being slow and steady and sticking to the plan, essentially. The biggest, most relevant thing here. But like, as we look at this, we have the Strength card, ruled by Leo, associated with it being the number 8 with Scorpio, both fixed signs. The Two of Pentacles, 2, associated with the sign of Taurus, a fixed sign. Temperance, card 14, 1 plus 4 is 5, associated with the sign of Leo, again, a fixed sign. So you really have that energy all throughout this month. So that is the message this month. Stick to the plan. Things are getting better and better and better, and you are well on your way to great, great success. So there you go, Pisces. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a great, successful, abundant month indeed. This has been a tarot forecast for the sign of Pisces for the month of October 2017 from Poetic Heretic. Don't forget to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.